Welcome to this video presentation of Building B2B Sales Team, a tool for planning your sales revenue, resource and budget. Now, if you're a business owner, sales head or a sales manager and keen to understand how analytics can be used to hit your revenue goals or plan your resources, budgets and quotas, so you are here at the right place at the right time. Because in this video, I will introduce you to a simple and powerful tool that can help you overcome the burden of sales planning and easily arrive at the sales capacity, number of resources you want to have, or the budget or the quota for individual salespeople required to hit your revenue goals. Now, before we dive into, let me just give a brief introduction about who I am and how we can work together. Maybe in the end I will explain. But my name is Prashant Godrohal. I'm a partner at Growth Aspire. So we at Growth Aspire work with businesses leaders to help them acquire their dream clients. And we help them achieve their sales growth and get them the real ROI by helping them the sales systems with the right set of tools and technology. And typically what we have seen is clients have seen 3x improvements within 45 to 90 days of engagement once we work with them. So that's been something which has worked for quite well for us, and I would be happy to share if you're interested to know more in the end of this video. But let's dive in now how this tool you can use in your own business and how you can plan. Now, when it comes to any effective sales system, generally we see that there are 5 essential P's you should be focusing on. The one is the people. The second is the process part of the sales process, what we say. That the third one is the sales planning. And the fourth is how do you manage your pipeline. And the final, sales performance. So these are all very highly interrelated, but at the same time, each of these by itself requires a different tools, skill sets and competencies to really work. So I have a separate video where I explain each of these in detail, but for this video, we'll focus more on sales planning, because whenever it comes to sales planning, a lot of companies, a lot of sales heads we meet, they face challenges. Especially they have got a lot of questions when it comes to sales planning in terms of how do I allocate my quota to salespeople, or what kind of resources I need, what kind of budget I should keep aside for a sales cost like that. And here are some questions which we generally receive from people. One is to hit annual sales quota, how do I know the optimal resource capacity? So what is the number of people I should hire really to achieve my revenue goals? Or what is the optimal sales cost per revenue? So this is where it tells like how much should I be spending compared to my revenue for in my business, or what data or benchmark should I rely for planning. If I don't have a lot of data, what should I do? Or if I have data, how much should I rely, or what kind of benchmarks are available for my business, or how to allocate the quota for opportunities deal for different sales functions like sales development reps or inside sales reps. So what is the kind of quota I should give them? How do I tweak? Essentially, like if my cost of sales is very high, what should I look at it? Where should I focus? Or how much resource capacity? So if I have a list of leads, how many people should I hire? What is the kind of capacity I should build or plan for? So these are the questions which we receive when it comes to sales planning. Now, some of these questions you may have, or some more questions you may have, but the overall, what I want to show is how this one tool can help you to answer most of these questions. So, for this tool to use, whenever it comes to sales planning, what we see is there are 6 levers you need to consider when it comes to any sales planning in terms of quota resource plannings. So first one is what we call top level metrics, and the second is all about how do you plan your resources depending on the kind of sales team what you have. If you want to have a inside sales reps or sales development resources or marketing resources, so depending on that, overall your sales planning, resource planning, which includes and then budget planning, how much budget you should allocate for each of your resources, and finally what is the kind of metrics you should be focusing on. So each of these by itself, it looks very complex to really arrive at, but once we put into a tool, it makes very easy to understand how each of these are related. So let's dive into each of these. The first one, when we say sales top level metrics, to really make any good plan, obviously some of the things we need to start off. What is the kind of revenue we're looking for? So maybe if your CEO has given a revenue, this is the kind of revenue we need to target for year next, maybe 2022. What is the kind of revenue? So that's something you want to plan based on your past or market capacity, or depending on number of products you're launching. And once you arrive at what is the revenue, you also need to have a top level metric of what is the average deal size. So that is something which you should be able to tell. And then where is the leads coming? Whether it's a marketing or sales generated. If so, what is the percentage? So how much percentage is coming from marketing? How much coming from inside sales people who are generating leads on themselves? And finally, what is the typical sales cycle? When an opportunity comes, how long does it take to close that? Is it a 30 days? Is it a 45 days? Or is it a 15 days? Or does it take 3 months? So you got to have these numbers or use some benchmarks which we suggest. But the overall, having these are the top level metrics required. Now, once you have these top level metrics, then it comes down to sales funnel, or what we call how do you manage your pipeline, what are the areas where you should focus. So if you really see any sales for that matter, it can be broken down into simple 3 stage where you generate, assign the leads, then qualify or an opportunity and customers. So for example, the same thing can be said like pipeline creation. How many leads do you require? Building your leads. Leads can come from marketing or you buy some lists. So that is the total leads you require. Then how many opportunities you have to convert these leads to total number of opportunities, which leads to qualify. That means these are the sales qualified opportunities. That means the chance of success, they become a high quality prospects. And finally, the number of customers, convert opportunities to customer by having a sales conversations. Now, as you see, we need resources for each of these level, for converting leads to opportunities and from opportunities to customer. And that is where resource planning comes in, where it's focused on 2 areas. A pipeline creation, which is generating opportunities. So if you have a marketing function, then marketing is generating leads through maybe a download, somebody is coming from a website, or you have gone to some event and you have collected some leads, or someone is you have done a webinar and you have got some leads, and how do you convert them to opportunities. So that is a source of lead. But then there is also sales development reps who focus more on procuring the lists. Maybe you build a database and you start connecting to them through telephone and email and LinkedIn, where telephone is what we'll consider for this tool now, where they call up and try to convert, get them to an opportunity. And then once an opportunity is done, you want to focus on converting them, where depending on the business, whether it's an inside sales representative or a field sales representatives. So for our discussion here of the tool, we focus on inside sales representatives to follow up the opportunities to convert to sales. So as you can see, there are 3 kinds of resources: a marketing qualified reps who focus on leads to opportunities for a marketing leads, and the sales development who focuses on converting the cold lists to the opportunity, and then inside sales rep. So in some businesses, a couple of these activities can be done by one, but for now we focus on where each of these functions are different and you have got some resources to do that. Now once you have understood now, let's see how a tool can help you to identify how much resource, how much cost is required. So this is a kind of tool where Excel sheet where there are a lot of entries that you have to make, and on each of things what we talked, and then the tool gives out all the details. So let's dive in now to understand the tool. Okay, so this is an Excel sheet tool where sales quota capacity budget planning. So you can see multiple sheets are there. In the first sheet is where we see the assumptions or the benchmarks you want to add for your planning purpose. So for example, we are divided into multiple sections here. The first one is where we top metrics. You enter your revenue goal, you enter your average deal size for the year, and then what is the win rate you have. This is one more important metrics. What kind of win rate you have. So if you don't have a win rate, you can start with 10%, but typically top companies have 42% or growing 27%. But if you have a history of win rate and you want to repeat that or you want to slightly increase that, you can put that. And what is the sales cycle, and also what kind of deals sourced by marketing. If you have a marketing working, what is the number of deals from marketing, you can enter here. So a good marketing company, company in a B2B space, at least they will have 35% coming from marketing. And then when I say marketing, it is, as I said, it's more of website, it's more of events what you do, and it may be through referrals also you can add, but majority is through organic inbound marketing. But then finally you add a customer life cycle, how long the customer you're going to retain. So these are the top level metrics you want to add so that it becomes very for you to initial set which can be given by management or you can arrive at. Now the second thing is budget planning. So this is where you enter what is the amount of you want to compensation for your different sales people. So if you are having inside sales people, sales development track who focuses on telephone calling to generate opportunities, you have entered the salary here. And depending on the geography you are working, you can use that metric. And the marketing qualified, so converting the leads from marketing you can add, and the marketing cost per lead also can be added. So typically, what is the cost per lead? If marketing is working, how much does the marketing take to generate one lead? So depending on business, again, there are some benchmarks which can be as $21 to $50 or 500 rupees, something in India. So if you have some number you enter or use some top benchmarks like this, then ISR, how much does the ISR compensation? And then the burden rate, how much overall additional compensation, performance incentives, cost, you can add as some 20% depending on your business. Now, once you add this budget planning, then there are other sections where you are going to give more details on what's the capacity, how do you arrive at the right resources. So this is where when we say outbound representatives, so there are some capacity and benchmarks available, like how many dials should be done to create one opportunity. So in a typical B2B business, 125 dials are required. So if you have a number, you can add or use some of these numbers. And then how many dials per day a person can dedicate it to this work can do. So on an average, 56 dials is what most companies do, but depending again, you can always change these things. And number of days, working days, and also number of touches per name. So in a typical cold calling or the emails, one connection will never work. So you have to enter number of times they have to call an individual person and what is the success rate. So each of these we have covered in more of our telephone selling skills, but these are some things you can enter these to get an approximate idea of this, how based on this the resource capacity will be calculated. Similarly, now marketing resource planning, if you are generating enough leads, now they have to be converted to opportunities. Now typically in a B2B, the number of percentage of leads to opportunities is around 7%. So this is not the sales, this is just the opportunities. So you can put a number, but if you have some clarity, you can always put the percentage, but otherwise use a 7%. And the number of leads a marketing can follow, you can put per day. And finally, how many opportunities can be pursued by your salesperson. So depending on businesses, 29 is a high figure, but it's a benchmark for a small deal size. If you have, you can put that. But if you have a large deal sizes, you can always reduce number of opportunities one individual salesperson can pursue in a month. You can always put this one. Now, once you add these details, then you visit this, you view this sheet, which is gives you complete details on how the metrics are arrived. So, as you can see, based on these numbers, what we have entered here, this calculates the total on the top matrix, the total number of leads required, the number of opportunities to be generated, and number of deals required. This is also given in a graph like this. So you can see this, and then number of prospects, resource planning. If you see number of resource planning, you can also see the outbound prospecting. How many opportunities are required to be generated by outbound prospecting? How many dials people have to make in a year, and how many number of days required to convert, and total outbound leads required. So this is the number of leads you will be generating through outbound list you need to have. So then marketing resources, how many opportunities marketing has to generate is 154 out of 415, 154, and the number of leads marketing has to generate is 2200. And then the inside resource, how many opportunities per year for inside resource is 353. So based on this, we calculate the resource SDRs required. So there will be 3 SDRs required. There will be 1 MQR required and 2 ISRs required. As you can see, this is the graph is shows here number of this one. So all the formulas are also given how it's calculated. And finally, the budget planning. You will total SDR cost and total MQR, total marketing, and this will be the total cost. And you can see the it's shown here, and this is where the budget planning you will get. And final metrics, how many quota per ISR, what's the amount an ISR has to generate revenue, what is the deals they have to do it, and what is the opportunities per SDR per month, and marketing leads per month. So all these are given, and these are like cost of revenue. 20% will be a cost of revenue of marketing. Customer acquisition cost will be 60,000, and lifetime is around 15 months. So like this, you will be able to calculate everything it gives. And in this sheet, you can also get everything in a one single sheet where it comes out very clearly. So as you can see, this tool is very flexible. You can add a lot of details here, you can change here, and things immediately changes, and you can plan out. So that's the overview of tool I wanted to give. Okay, one of the key things important is to keep in mind is once you use this tool and arrive at numbers, you need to be maybe tweaking some of these sales model. So what are the metrics you must be focusing on? So for example, if your sales cost per revenue is very high, then if it comes more than like 35%, 40% or 50%, then you got to focus on, should you be increasing your win rates? Should the dials per opportunities should increase, or percentage leads to conversions can increase, and sales cycle can reduce? Or so like this, you can work on these parameters to reduce your sales cost per revenue. But on the other hand, if your sales cost per revenue is coming very low, then it is also possible that you may be overestimating efficiency of your team. You are overestimating activities, number of work they are doing, or you are under compensation given to teams. Sometimes you can always pay less and get more people, but the quality may not be that good. So you have to really compensate as per industry standards to get that kind of productivity. So you can focus on this and start tweaking on this. So as I said, this tool is gives you an opportunity to play around with numbers to arrive at your sales quota budget, and you can make a huge come up with a very good plan to start and keep working every 3 months to improvise so that you will find more value. Now, if you want to download this tool, you can definitely click the link below I have given where you can access this tool. At the same time, I also want to say that how at Growth Aspire we can help you. So we can help you in increasing your sales opportunities. If you are not able to, you have a revenue goal and you want to increase the number of opportunities, we can help you set up your outbound prospecting. We can help you acquire more leads, more opportunities through your sales team. Or we can help you also if you have a challenge in sales conversion. That means your win rate is less. We will help you to increase your win rate, and we also help you in the reduce overall sales cycle and customer acquisition cost. So these are the areas we can help your sales team build the right set of sales tools, and also help them to skill them and give them the right competency. Now, if you want to really speak to us, you find that there is something we can work together, then you can always click the link below where I will be happy to discuss and understand more your this one and find if there are areas of synergy where we can work. So you can always find a link below where you can click bit.ly at free strategy session Prashant, and we will speak. Or you can always email at Prashant at Growth Aspire or call at my number. Thank you.